be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this day has been over 50 years in the making. I'd like to welcome those who are here with us, and I'd like to start by welcoming our chief guest. She's a London Marathon 2014 contestant and finisher for our international guests. The only reason, I am told, the only reason she wasn't in Amsterdam among the Magnificent Eight on the 16th of October is because she was busy. She has competed and completed 3 First Lady half marathons. She's a champion of moms and babies. Her Excellency Margaret Kenyatta. Also joining us here today is our newly appointed Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable David Maraga, and this is his maiden event. Have fun, sir. She is a recipient of the 2016 Clark Bavin Wildlife Law Enforcement Award, and she led a very loud, very active, very, very, very passionate Kenyan delegation to CITES in Johannesburg, our CS for the Environment, Professor Judy Wakungu. There is a Kenyan delegation here from the US, and the American ambassador joins us this afternoon. Welcome, Ambassador Godek. The PS in the Ministry for Environment and Natural Resources, Margaret Mwakima, joins us this afternoon, and so does nominated Member of Parliament, the Honourable Amina Abdallah Mohammed, and she's chairperson of the Committee on Environment and Human Resources. She's here as well. Now, those are the people you think you know. Also joining us this afternoon is a gentleman you must find on Twitter and follow him. He believes that if you don't like reptiles, you must respect them. He's a man who makes no apologies for his conservation creed. He's the Director General of WWF, Dr. Marco Lambertini. Welcome, sir. Your Excellency, this story I must tell you, the gentleman I'm about to introduce interviewed me over a cup of black tea with no sugar. When I was looking for a job as a 23-year-old, he asked me, do you like black tea with no sugar? When you're 23 and you want a job, you say, yes, indeed. He was my first boss and the board chair of WWF Kenya, Mr. Isaac Awando. Our host today is a very proud man and a very excited man, and he should be, and he is WWF Kenya's country director and CEO, Mohammed Aware. Also with us this afternoon, Your Excellency, are delegates from over 30 countries. They're represented here because this is a big event. They come from Zambia, Rwanda, Senegal, Burkina Faso, the United Kingdom, the US, Scotland, at least they said hi and took a selfie, Poland, and Germany. There's over 30, and we are honored you made the time to be here. However, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends, Twitter friends, and Facebook friends, I need to make way for your facilitator for the afternoon, a person who's not as pretty as I am, but he'll do. He's very charming, he's absolutely seasoned, and it's always a pleasure to tag team with him. Please put your hands together for my co-host, June Ogola.
But do I say, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together for Caroline Mutoko. She has said it all. She has done what was supposed to be done, practically, and now we go straight to the speeches. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, allow me to invite the opening remarks from Mr. Mohammed Awar, the CEO of WWF Kenya. Makofi.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of Kenya, Margaret Kenyatta, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, Republic of Kenya, Mr. David Magara, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for Environment and Natural Resources, Professor Judy Wahungu, the Ambassador, United States of America, Ambassador Kodek, the Director General, WWF, Marco, the Chairman, WWF Kenya, Isaac, Directors and CEOs of WWF offices, CEOs of government offices, CEOs and representatives of international and national non-governmental organizations present, senior government officials and partners. We are honored to have your company today to mark this important milestone in WWF's conservation and development work in Kenya. To the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, I know you have presided over another very important event this morning and have accepted to preside on this event as well, even when we did not give you the option of giving us another date because we insisted it had to be 24th, and you adjusted. Thank you very much. We don't take that for granted. To the Chief Justice, Your Lordship, we recognize that this is your first public event outside the judiciary, and this is a confirmation of your promise to Kenyans of servant leadership. Asante sana. To Ambassador Kodek, we have had very, very productive 4 years of your service, especially in natural resource management and conservation. You have been with us this journey, and we say thank you very much. To the Cabinet Secretary, as I say many times, you have not disappointed your colleagues in the environment and natural resource management field. You have met the expectations. So while I say thank you, I'll say that you have done what was expected of you. And to all of you who have taken time out, we say thank you very much. Your Excellency, there are people who have done over 30 hours flights coming from as far as Guatemala and Colombia to be with us. And as Kenyans, I'm sure you will say we don't take this for granted. We say thank you very much for that long time spent and for joining us for this event. Today, we celebrate the launch of WWF Kenya as a non-governmental organization registered in Kenya. Of note is that we'll still continue to be part of the WWF global network, which places us in a unique position of local to global presence. We have been present in Kenya since 1961, during which time we have contributed to conservation agenda in this country. In 1961, we acquired land around Lake Nakuru National Park and gave it to the government of Kenya to provide additional space for wildlife conservation in Lake Nakuru National Park. We have trained more than 50 Kenyans at the graduate level, masters and PhDs, in natural resource management. We have contributed to resolution of human-wildlife conflict in places like Masai Mara. We have facilitated maybe the only functional public-private people partnership on water resource management in Lake Naivasha area. What is more important is many of you have been with us through this journey, and I want to assure you that we'll be together as we continue, as we transition our presence in Kenya. So without spending a lot of time, mine is to thank you all for being with us and supporting us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohamed Awar. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, I would like to invite you for a 5-minute video show, which is going to come on the screens right now.
When did we start seeing ourselves as separate from nature? When did we forget that the trees we use for wood and paper are the very source of the air we breathe, that we share with other warm-blooded mammals the same wants and needs, that without the others we cannot live. Instead of wanting to take from Mother Earth, we need to give. Nature is not something we are apart from or deserve. It is the very fabric of life, a home we must conserve. We must appreciate what can be achieved when we gather. In unity and strength, people working harmoniously together. In respect, appreciation, and in preservation of nature.
Did I mention 5 minutes? Yes, I did. Thank you for that short preview of a video show which was coming on screen. At this moment, Your Excellency, it's my humble great honor to invite Mr. Isaac Awondo, the chair of the board, to come and make his remarks.
I think it's fine. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Justice David Maraga, the Cabinet Secretary for Environment and Natural Resources, Professor Judy Wakungu, Director General WWF, Marco Lambertini, WWF Kenya Board of Directors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocol observed. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this critical event in the life of WWF Kenya operations, WWF Kenya operations. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Today, we mark a significant event, the launch of WWF Kenya. We are greatly honored, Your Excellency, that you have spared time from your busy schedule to officially launch WWF in Kenya. Now, a locally registered non-governmental organization. As a local NGO, WWF Kenya will be governed by a predominantly Kenyan board of directors. Please allow me to formally introduce the board, starting with Dr. Richard Kagwamba. Richard, thank you. Mary Kimonye. Thank you, Mary. Sadia Effendi. Winnie Ouko. Andrew Reika. And Dr. Ibrahim Ali. By establishing WWF as a Kenyan NGO, we will be conforming to the requirements of the NGO Coordination Act and its successor, the Public Benefits Organization Act. WWF Kenya will, however, remain part of the WWF family, the largest global non-governmental conservation organization with presence in more than 100 countries. Under such a unique arrangement, WWF Kenya will have the benefit of being locally embedded and addressing conservation issues of national relevance, but at the same time being influential globally through its membership in the WWF network. As a part of this global network, WWF Kenya will benefit from international best practices, lessons, and experiences. Indeed, we will host the WWF Regional Office for Africa, which is part of the decentralization process of the International Secretariat. Your Excellency, we are launching WWF Kenya as a stronger entity that has been part of Kenya's conservation landscape for a long time. WWF has supported conservation programs and projects in Kenya from as far as 1961. The organization purchased the larger part of the land that constitutes Lake Nakuru National Park and transferred it to the government of Kenya to provide more land for wildlife in the then smaller Lake Nakuru National Park. In the 1980s, when the rhino population declined to alarming low numbers of just 300, WWF supported the Lake Nakuru. WWF supported the government of Kenya to develop a national rhino strategy and establish a sanctuary in Lake Nakuru National Park. Today, Kenya is proud to have a viable rhino population of 1,070. WWF has also supported programs in the transboundary Mara River Basin, including the Mau Forest Complex, the coastal Kenya forests, and the Lamu, Tana, seascape and landscape. Your Excellency, we at WWF Kenya recognize that as we celebrate this significant milestone, we will not be able to respond to all the conservation and development challenges facing Kenya alone. It is for this reason that we embrace the opportunity presented by working in partnership with many other actors, including the government of Kenya, the private sector, the civil society, to develop an inclusive and holistic conservation and development agenda. Only then can we deliver on the mission of the WWF network. Your Excellency, the WWF network has been very helpful to Kenya in this journey. I want to recognize the support of WWF International, WWF UK, WWF India, WWF South Africa, which I had the opportunity to visit and learn from, WWF Poland, WWF Pakistan, and all the other offices in the WWF network. Indeed, in this letter of congratulations, the chairman of WWF South Africa has invited my board for a joint sitting at their cost. This is an indicator of the network's commitment to support WWF Kenya stand on its own. We say thank you for this great networking opportunity. Your Excellency, I take this opportunity to thank all our other partners and friends, especially the government of Kenya, its agencies, for being part of this journey to date. Navigating the road ahead will be more challenging, so I invite everyone to commit to walk even further with a stronger WWF Kenya, inspired by our rallying call, Together for Nature. Thank you again for honoring us and helping us start this very, very important journey. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Chair. At this moment, I invite Dr. Monaco Lambertini, the Director General of WWF, to come and make his remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, and Your Excellency, Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, WWF friends and colleagues. I know there are friends also from other civil society organizations in Kenya here with us, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, it is a great day for WWF globally. And it is really my privilege to be here celebrating together on behalf of the global network of WWF this particular special day. A day that is important for a number of reasons. First of all, because as Isaac said, we are making WWF Kenya stronger. And by making WWF Kenya stronger, we're recognizing a journey of talent cultivation, of leadership development, of engagement in Kenya and from outside the world in supporting this organization to become one of the most distinguished and reputable offices of WWF globally. This is something that has taken a lot of efforts from many people, and it's difficult to remember all of them. Isaac mentioned some of the countries around the world that supported WWF Kenya in this journey. I would like to recognize the regional office of Africa, of WWF, that's been so close to the journey too, and many other friends and partners from all over the world, and of course within Kenya. And today we've been able, I think, to make the organization so much stronger by attracting a fantastic, I would like to say, board of trustees of the new organization registered in Kenya that I think are going to bring a lot of new strength, new ideas, new competence, and I'm sure that will boost the effectiveness of the organization in Kenya a big way. Second reason that we are here to celebrate is that we are making WWF stronger in Kenya. Kenya has been a country, has been championing conservation for a long time and have been always very close, strong ally to WWF campaigns and positions. And I think it's important, very significant, that we are actually strengthening a national organization in this beautiful, fantastically committed to conservation country like Kenya. And let me say that we are not just celebrating the WWF Kenya operations getting stronger. Isaac briefly mentioned, and I would like to stress the fact that in our plan of distributing and decentralizing our global operations from the what used to be the headquarters in Switzerland, we are actually now relocating a number of global functions around the world, and Nairobi has been identified as the hub, one of the global hubs, and the hub for Africa. So that's also a very exciting development for us. But not only that, we're also reorganizing the way we work in WWF by creating communities that will bring together the network around much more ambitious and transformational goals. And one of these goals, of course, is around wildlife conservation. And the leadership of the wildlife global community that we're just about to launch is actually right now being appointed and be based and will operate from Nairobi. So Nairobi is beginning to be a bit of a global hub for WWF, and I guess to say, I wouldn't mind if when I come back home, my own office will be relocated to Nairobi. Who knows? The third reason why we celebrate this is equally important. And it's about actually making a stronger office, developing a stronger office in Africa. Africa, it's a continent at a very special turning point for a number of reasons that you will know perhaps much better than I do. But Africa is going to be the battleground for sustainability, and most likely the continent that actually is able to leapfrog the old business usual development. They've seen economic and social development coupled with environmental destruction to a new model, which is the model that WWF embraces in our own mission and vision, which is about being able to develop economically and socially, but in the respect of the environment. With the new understanding, the new awareness that there won't be a prosperous future for a human society in a degraded environment. And Africa in particular, with big challenges ahead, 600 million people are still lacking access to electricity. This is unacceptable. This is a right for development that the continent demands. Of the 2.5 billion people that are likely to come on board on this planet in the next 30 years, more than half will be in Africa, with huge challenges on terms of food production and employment. Well, WWF wants to play a small part, perhaps, but we hope an important one in supporting Kenya and the African continent to face these challenges and show the world it is possible to build a future where people and nature strive together. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's now my great honor and privilege to invite the Cabinet Secretary for Environment and Natural Resources, Professor Judy Wahungu, to come and make a speech, and also in turn invite the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court to come and make his remarks.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, David Maraga, the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Bob Godek, the Honorable Member of Parliament and Chair of the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, Honorable Amina Abdallah, the PS Natural Resources, Dr. Margaret Mwakima, the WWF Director General, Dr. Marco Lambertini, WWF Kenya Board Chair, Isaac Awondo, members of the WWF Board present, country directors of WWF offices around Africa, representatives of government bodies, conservation organizations, and private sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to be here with you to launch the WWF Kenya office. WWF is now registered locally as an NGO. I'm also pleased to be here with you today to see WWF launch its new strategic plan. WWF has been a key conservation player in Kenya for almost 50 years, a period uniquely equivalent to Kenya's nationhood. Since its establishment in 1962, WWF has worked very closely with the government of Kenya. Most significantly, WWF Kenya has sought to make its conservation work relevant to Kenya's socio-economic development needs. From the initial focus on WWF and wildlife conservation, WWF's work now embraces critical thematic areas of water, forests, climate change, energy, marine resources, and drivers such as governance, finance, and markets. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, WWF Kenya's track record in conservation is very impressive. While it is not possible to summarize all the important work associated with this office, I think it's important to highlight some distinctions. Not many of us might know that WWF Kenya purchased 188 square kilometers of private land and donated it to the Kenyan government for what is now Lake Nakuru National Park. WWF has also provided valuable support towards the rebuilding of Kenya's rhino population after the decline in the early 1980s. On realizing that the threats to conservation recognize no boundaries, WWF Kenya expanded its work to include the transboundary Mara River Basin and marine resources. The work in the Mara includes the establishment of community conservancies for mutual conservation and economic benefits. It is also worth noting that this involved partnerships with tour operators and local communities. WWF Kenya realizes that sustainable development requires strategic partnerships between the public and the private sector. This was put in practice in Naivasha when WWF established a close working relationship with the flower industry in partnership with the government. Through this partnership, it was possible to implement water use regulations and water allocation plans. Currently, WWF is establishing a sustainable investments hub to forge a closer relationship with financial institutions and investors to promote international best practice in financing development and implementation of relevant sector, environmental, and social safeguard standards. This is timely because our country is currently implementing various large-scale developments with important environmental components. The contribution from WWF in the development of the Kenya Green Economy Strategy and Implementation Plan, in addition to spatial planning across various counties in the country, is very much appreciated. a rapidly growing Kenyan economy, a devolved governance system, and changing international trade and investment patterns mean that WWF's strategy has to continue evolving faster than ever before in order to respond to shifting challenges. This strategic plan has been developed with this in mind. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, WWF Kenya's vision as outlined in its new strategic plan is inspiring. A healthy natural environment supporting people and growth in Kenya is the vision. This vision and strategic objectives are consistent with Kenya's desired development pathway. The emphasis is on the interdependency between healthy natural environment and also human development. These dependencies are very important given that 40% of Kenya's GDP is derived from natural resource sectors such as agriculture, forestry, fishing, tourism, and mining. Lastly, it is important to note that today we are here to recognize and to celebrate the achievements of WWF Kenya. It is a remarkable journey of an office that began with a narrow focus on wildlife conservation to one that is not only relevant to Kenya's development trajectory, but an office capable of influencing our overall development trajectory. Please join me in congratulating WWF in successfully navigating the journey from a country office to an independent, locally registered national organization. Makofi tafadhali. Let us all wish them well and continued success in delivering conservation that is relevant to Kenya's development needs. Thank you. It is now my honor and great pleasure to invite the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, David Maraga, to make his remarks.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, the Cabinet Secretary, Professor Wahungu, the U.S. Ambassador, Mr. Kodek, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm happy to be here to celebrate with WWF Kenya as it marks the landmark development of becoming a nationally registered office. I join you in celebrating the day and occasion. I know from previous engagements between the judiciary and WWF Kenya that Kenyans will be the ultimate winners of these developments. In the recent past, Kenyans have made it clear that they understand the triple golden line that links the environment with our socioeconomic well-being, with our shared prosperity as a nation and our governance system, and with our prosperity. In our great constitution enacted in 2010, Kenyans enshrined a clean and healthy environment in the Bill of Costs as an enforceable and justiciable right. They went further in Article 69 to task the states to ensure sustainable exploitation, utilization, management, and conservation of the environment and natural resources, and ensure the equitable sharing of the accruing benefits. These two constitutional provisions must ultimately be linked with Article 43 of the Constitution, which provides for socio-economic rights of all Kenyans, of all the people of Kenya, including the right to food, housing, and health. In including these constitutional provisions in the fundamental law, Kenyans recognized what Professor Wangari Maathai believed and what WWF stands for. That is sustainable utilization of environmental and natural resources, coupled with the equitable sharing of the benefits from these resources, is the only true basis for a prosperous and a peaceful society. Hence, Professor Maathai was surely right when she remarks, and I quote, "When you think of all the conflicts we have, whether those conflicts are local, whether they are regional or global, these conflicts are often over the management and the distribution of resources. If these resources are very valuable, if these resources are scarce, if these resources are degraded, there is going to be competition." End of quote. For us in the judiciary, linking sustainable development, utilization, and equitable distribution of its resources as a peaceful and prosperous society, and constitutionalizing the nexus is also a way of restating, with some sense of urgency and immediacy, the role that the judiciary must play in animating that link. We now realize that these truths are not self-executing. The realization that environmental degradation could endanger the lives of present and future generations would not leap out of the constitutional text to stem the tide in the destruction of our forests. Neither will the constitutionalization of the right to a clean and healthy environment in the Constitution magically reduce the wanton poaching of endangered species in our country. These constitutional provisions link the statutes, regulations, and policies which have been enacted to vilify them must ultimately find their way into the minds and hearts of duty-bound Kenyans who are ready to wield them to bring them to life. They must be given meaning and breathed into life in the spirit in which they are enacted. These must be implemented by the duty bearers and demanded by the right holders. It is in this regard that the Kenyan judiciary is proud to be a faithful steward of Kenya's environment and a reliable partner to like-minded organizations like WWF in ensuring it plays its rightful role in protecting Kenya's environment. Out of the realization that our work, our practices, and our jurisprudence must reflect the lived realities of the people of Kenya and their aspirations, the Kenyan judiciary joined the conservation movement, including WWF, in finding solutions to the wanton destruction of our wildlife heritage in 2012. Through the recalibrating our approach to wildlife and environmental crimes, as informed by a new understanding of the context in which the laws in this area operate, the judiciary has worked effectively with other stakeholders to operationalize the new Wildlife Conservation and Management Act 2013 in a way that has led to demonstrably reduced incidences of poaching, and destruction of the endangered species and illicit trafficking of the wildlife in the country. More importantly, through partnership with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Kenya Wildlife Service, and the Kuopo Kenya United Against Poaching, among others, the judiciary has, through the Judiciary Training Institute, organized an annual judicial exchange forum that has, for the past 4 years, brought together different institutions involved in the fight against poaching to dialogue on the best strategies to handle wildlife and environmental crimes. This fora focused on initiative ways of ensuring persons arrested on suspicion of poaching do not go unpunished and have passed critical resolution to expedite the eradication of devastating wildlife and environmental crimes in Kenya and avert the looming national crisis. The resolutions from the earliest forum included the proposing of amendments to the Wildlife Act 2013, developing a multi-agency training curriculum to build the capacities of wildlife law enforcement agencies, exploring the possibility of creating special wildlife courts for prosecuting wildlife crimes, and raising sufficient public awareness concerning offenses and penalties as extolled in the Act. More importantly, these dialogues have entrenched multi-agency collaboration, interdisciplinary approach, and in particular multi-agency training on wildlife crimes as the way forward in dealing with environmental and wildlife crimes. Excuse me. I'm happy to note that WWF has been deeply involved in all these initiatives. I'm aware that this environment with the judiciary is only the latest chapter in is a critical one in WWF's decades of old history of working closely with the government and other like-minded organizations, including local communities, to conserve Kenya's rich national heritage. The organization's presence in the country over the last 50 years has indeed left notable footprints on the sandals of time in various sectors, ranging from wildlife, forestry, fresh water, to community livelihoods. I also note that you have been and still continue to be very active in supporting governance reforms in the country to continue creating an environment for the management of the country's natural assets. I can readily commit that the judiciary will continue to be a major partner in the fight against illegal wildlife trade and environmental crimes in general. We will continue on the path we have begun, a stakeholder engagement aimed at ensuring a more effective operationalization of the criminal justice system in the environmental and wildlife crimes, a more innovative and straightened jurisprudence, speedier trials, and proportionate and deterrent punishments in accordance with the law in wildlife and environmental crimes. I look forward to continued partnership with the WWF and the judiciary in the areas of training and interdisciplinary learnings, as well as the law reform. I'm reliably informed that the WWF is planning to support an exchange learning program between South African and Kenyan judges and magistrates in the area of environmental crimes. We look forward to much learning and improved approaches from these comparative initiatives. I salute WWF Kenya on the landmark development of becoming a nationally registered office. I am aware that this will grant you greater autonomy in your continued engagement to support sustainable development in our country. I look forward to more enhanced collaboration with the judiciary. It is now my privilege and honor to invite Her Excellency, the First Lady, to make our speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Be seated. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a true pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you for the gracious invitation to celebrate WWF, which is firmly entrenching its presence in Kenya by opening a local office here. 50 years ago, WWF's pioneering work in Kenya prioritized on fighting for the conservation of endangered species, including black rhinos and African elephants. Today, your work has expanded to tackle a broader range of important issues, from protection of forests to ensuring effective management of Kenya's water resources, marine conservation, and climate change. We congratulate you for your decades of work as an influential conservation player both in Kenya and other parts of the world. Your new status as WWF Kenya will add a voice to policy making and the future direction of conservation in the wider global network. Your comprehensive approach to sustainable development around environmental issues is a standard for today's world. Such a robust approach recognizes and underscores one undeniable truth: no one can change a country or a continent alone. Across the world and throughout history, any change brought about by humanity has always been the consequence of a collaborative process by brokering agreements between diverse stakeholders of similar conviction to enable them to take a stand together in what they believe. WWF works well with government, civil society, local communities, and a range of other stakeholders to move our country forward along the frontier of conservation. This is demonstrated by your work with private sector to establish sustainable investment hubs that will forge closer relationships with financial institutions and investors to promote international best practice in financing sustainable development. And it is also demonstrated in the partnership you have brokered between communities and tourist partners in the Mara for the establishment of community conservancies for mutual conservation and economic benefit. It is therefore my hope that over the next 50 years, you will continue to bring people together to deal with critical environmental issues of our time. Indeed, I am confident that working under the new strategic framework will provide WWF Kenya with an unparalleled catalyst for change in the area of conservation that will build and protect the resources of this country. That said, and even as you move forward in your work and realize your new institutional status and mission, let me encourage you to remember that real change is incremental. It comes over time and is frequently accompanied by many setbacks along the way. Kenya's rich natural assets are extremely vital for our citizens' livelihoods and economic development. The government of Kenya has put in place policy frameworks and continues to be an active participant internationally to underscore its commitment at all levels to fight illegal wildlife trade. And I know that the partners represented here today are all working together with the government towards ensuring a sustainable ecosystem for Kenya. I congratulate WWF Kenya in conquering a remarkable journey to become an independent institution. It now gives me great pleasure to officially launch the new, should I do it? The new strategic plan, and to declare WWF Kenya a fully local registered entity. Thank you.
After unveiling, he's going to present the board with a certificate of registration. After that photo, now Her Excellency the First Lady to present the chair of the board and the CEO with a copy of the certificate of registration. A round of applause to Her Excellency. Certificate of registration is being presented by Her Excellency the First Lady of the Republic, Ms. Margaret Kenyatta, to the Chair, Mr. Isaac Kawondo, and WWF Kenya CEO, Mr. Mohamed Awar. There we go. Will you pause for another photo? I can see the media people wanted to get that shot. Are you good to go? Thank you. On the same note, Your Excellency, now I'm going to invite the board also to make a presentation to you. If you may move back a little, the media, kindly let us move back. As I invite other members of the board, kindly come for this photo. The other members of the board who are present, please come for the photo. We are going to flank in 2 lines. You can do 2 lines. And there we go. We give it our smile. Let's give it all. May I request for another round of applause to the board, the members of the board of the WWF. Thank you. As the members of the board take their seats, please kindly, Your Excellency will remain there with the chair and the CEO, whereby you'll be presented by the gifts on behalf of the organization. The chair and the CEO now will present a gift. The gift is being presented to Her Excellency the First Lady on behalf of the organization. And there it goes. A round of applause. Thank you, Your Excellency. May I request you kindly to take your seat. Thank you. Another round of applause to Her Excellency. Oh. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic, now it's my great pleasure again to invite Mrs. Mary Kimonye, one of the board of members of the WWF, to come and move a vote of thanks.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mama Margaret Kenyatta, today is a very special day for us as WWF Kenya because you have come to hold our hand as we give birth to a new baby, WWF Kenya. As a mother, we recognize the work that you're doing with Beyond Zero for healthy mothers and children, and therefore this day we are happy that WWF Kenya will join that team of your children. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for charging us to continue to work with other people, to seek counsel from other people, because like you said, change cannot be caused by one person. So we've listened to you carefully, and we will seek other people to work with. We say a big thank you. Mohammed, when he was talking earlier, said that you had another function this morning. But more importantly is that we got a little dictatorial with you. We gave you a date, and we said it must be 24th. It was the First Lady who had to be humble. We thank you, Ma'am, for that humility. Special thanks today to the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice David Maraga, President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. It is not lost to us that you have just joined one of the busiest offices in Kenya, and particularly at a time like this, when we have so many issues facing our country that have to do with the rule of law. We want to tell you thank you for finding time, and also for guaranteeing us that in you and in the judiciary, we are going to find a friend who will work together with us through training and even executing the rule of law to protect the environment and also to deal with wildlife and environmental crime. Thank you very much, Justice. We also wish to give you a special prayer because we know the office you are entering. The board says, may the good Lord give you counsel. May He give you wisdom and understanding. We know the kind of office you'll be in. Thank you very much. To a special lady to WWF, Professor Judy Wahungu, we wouldn't be here today, this event, without you holding our hands. You've made the ministry a big friend to WWF Kenya. You supported us behind the scenes as we sought even the participation of the First Lady. Professor, thank you very much. We are happy for the work that you did for us. All the senior government officials who are in the room today will recognize the President, the presence of Principal Secretary for Natural Resources, Margaret Mwakima. Thank you for joining us. Earlier in the day, you've been with us for a long time. Thank you. The presence of Honorable Amina Muhammad, nominated MP and Chair of a parliamentary committee. Now we know our issues as far as environment is concerned are sorted because that committee will deal even with the budget allocations. Thank you very much for being here. Ambassador Godek, you are a big friend of WWF. We recognize the contribution of the United States government towards WWF Global. Monies which end up in Kenya. We are so grateful to your government. Without that support, some of the work we have been able to do wouldn't have been possible. So thank you very much, Ambassador. Now, our Director General, International, Marco Labatini, the man who has been so passionate about Kenya becoming its own national organization. He said, Kenya, you have the ability, you have the motivation, you have the resources to do it. And he told us to forge ahead. Thank you for that, and thank you for supporting us and for being here, and also for bringing this big delegation from so many countries who have come to be with us. Thank you for your friendship, thank you for your support, and thank you for your commitment to work with us even as we grow as a young organization. The WWF Africa Regional Office, deep waters run quietly. A man seated in this room, Fred Kuma, has been the man birthing the development of WWF Kenya. He is the Director General for the regional office, and we thank you, Fred, for your support and overseeing the transition to what we are witnessing here today. It would not have been possible without your counsel and without your leadership. Thank you very much. WWF Kenya is a new organization. At the helm of the board sits a man, a busy man, who has dedicated hours to lead us, to show us the way, Isaac Awondo. The board also says thank you to you. Because of your counsel and being a team player, we are where we are today. Our CEO, WWF Kenya, Mohamed Awo, a very humble man, very few words, but his actions speak. Thank you, Mohamed, for being a good team leader. And also to all the staff that you worked with to put this event together, we say a big thank you. We are also indebted to the many agencies that worked with us as we put this event together. Thank you to the Cryptic Event Management for putting this together, for the organizers, Caro and your colleague, also to the media who are here today for covering this event, with a special mention to the Nation Media Group, who have agreed to make conservation a unique agenda in their national plan. So we thank you, the media, the Nation Media Group. And to all the friends, if we had time, if we had the space, we would mention many people. But we say thank you to all the friends who are in the room today, who have supported us and held our hand, and many who have written to us to be part of the WWF Kenya family. Thank you all. Asanteni sana. May God bless you.
With that, now we are coming to the close of the official lounge. Your Excellency, before we wind it up, I would also want to mention only one thing, that the gift you have been given will be accompanied by the book, Platform for the Growth, Vision 2020, and the strategy. Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, may I request all of us, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, kindly be upstanding for the closing national anthem. Applause to each and everyone who has attended this. And on the same note, Your Excellency and your entourage, you may leave at your own pleasure, as the rest of us remain standing. Another round of applause as they leave. Thank you.